Всем привет! Спасибо, что заглянули на мой канал. Я, конечно же, не могла пропустить тему футбола, чемпионата мира по футболу, который в этом году проходит в России, и решила поговорить с человеком, который знает о футбольном закулисье немного больше, чем мы с вами. Футбольные болельщики обычно наблюдают только самые зрелищные моменты. Это сами игры, чемпионаты, игроки, тренеры. Но это только часть индустрии, это только верхушка айсберга. Ведь есть еще футбольный менеджмент, футбольное право, менеджмент стадионов. Еще куча разных других направлений, без которых индустрия футбола не могла бы функционировать. Я сегодня пришла в IFBI, International Football Business Institute. Это бизнес-школа в Брюсселе. И здесь как раз обучают всем этим самым премудростям. Один из основателей школы, Саймон, согласился со мной встретиться и поговорить о каких-то интересных фактах, интересных вещах о закулисье футбольном, поделиться со мной и с моими зрителями информацией, которой обычно болельщики не владеют.
As long as the World Cup will be in Russia this year, are you familiar with the Russian national team or with Russian clubs?
We've been quite familiar with the previous Russian squads on different World Cups before, with Arshavin, etc. So, but those were more popular players playing in Europe. Well, nowadays the Russian squad mainly exists out of players playing still in Russia. We see that the Russian competition is not really that popular in Europe, or not that followed like the Premier League or La Liga or the Bundesliga. So it's more difficult for us to get a better understanding of the players. Although there are some names going back to Russian competition, to Russian clubs, because Russia is a big market and really growing into the football, definitely now with the World Cup, which will give a huge boost to the football industry in Russia.
When you personally or someone from the school watch football, watch the World Cup, what do you mainly look at? The games, the players, or still you look more into the part of stadiums, how it's organized? So how does it work for you personally?
When I used to be a fan, I always looked to the game, of course, and the technical style of play and the tactical style that the coaches use their team in to win against one another. But nowadays we've been more involved with the football business side, so we look at how the game has been organized, but also who are the sponsors on the boardings, etc. Who has the name rights of the stadium, and how much does the stadium cost, etc. So we look more at what's been happening around the pitch than what's actually happening on the pitch. I think for most of the people that are actually involved with the business, with the industry, it's becoming a big business, of course. The money that's been involved in the football industry, the wages that are being paid by clubs, by federations, it's growing and growing, and it will keep on growing. But of course, for the fans, it's still about passion, and it's still about the tradition of the clubs and how it was supposed to be back in the ages, like employees of big fabrics working and etc. And working first and then afterwards to relax, play a game of football against each other, and that's really how football grew
To a big business.
To a very big business indeed.
Yeah, and you said that it's growing, all the wages and the salaries of the players. Can you explain to those who don't really understand why football players and coaches get so much money? Can you give us an explanation?
You need to see this in an economical way. I mean, it's the offer and demand. You know, it's difficult to explain, but for instance, when a club can afford to pay, let's say, 12 million euros towards a player on a salary, on a year's salary, and the club can afford it and they are willing to spend it, then I don't see a point to make that not happening, or to say no, it's forbidden, because a club is a business, it's an enterprise, it's an identity, and it does with its money what it wants, as long as the financial rules are in play. It's the same with a company. If a company wants to pay a CEO a lot of money, because they really want that man to lead their company, then there is nobody that can do anything about this. And it's a little bit the same with football clubs. If they see that, for instance, with the transfer of Neymar, if there is a big return on investment, then yeah, it's logical.
And or one of the most important parts which we don't see and we don't know about?
I think one of the most things that a fan underestimates is the community work that a lot of clubs are doing. I'm not saying that every club is doing this on a big scale, but most clubs are really performing quite a lot or putting a lot of effort in their community work, which is visiting hospitals, taking care of children that are sick, giving them presents, etc. Next to that, of course, there's a lot of work that needs to be done inside a club. As I said, it's a company actually. So you have a marketing department, you have a marketing financial department, you have a legal department, you have the stadium maintenance department, you have so many departments within one club. And a lot of fans still think it's just around the players, and the players need to perform on the pitch, but they don't see everything what is behind that. It's mostly with an average club of around, let's say, a budget of 40 to 50 million euros every year. There are around 100 to 200 people working behind the club. And on the match day, with all the volunteers and the stewards that are involved, that can go easily to 500-600 people working at the club on the match day.
Martin, can you advise my subscribers some books which they can start reading, where they can get some more information about the business football?
There are a couple of books that I think are really interesting and are really a good read to start and to actually prepare yourself for the football industry in either way it's possible via books. But I'm going to show you a couple of them. Maybe the first one, and also the oldest one, is edited by Simon Chadwick, a guest lecturer here at IFBI, and pretty straightforward, Managing Football. So it starts with general theories about football economics, football and law, but really goes in depth into, let's say, fan engagement or stadium management, security management, stuff like that. So it's really a holistic overview, let's say, of the football industry. What else? Maybe this one, and this is something that gets updated really regular. So it's coming from the European Club Association, edited by Olivier Jaroche. And it actually is a handbook. So it's not a, let's say, you can't read it from first page to the last. There is a guide. If you want to learn something more about something that's really, let's say, a specific topic from within the industry. For example, the community management. You want to learn something more about how football clubs build up their community, their engagement with the broader public. You go to, I don't know, let's say chapter 5, you take community, and you can, some sort of a guide who will guide you towards setting up a community. Anything else? Let me see. Maybe something that is not really technical, but it's really a fun read. It's Soccernomics. Simon Kuper, Stefan Szymanski, really one of the best writers / researchers from within football and economics. But it's really a must-read. It's like it states, it's a bestseller. So it's really an easy read about all different kinds of aspects from within the football industry. It always has a lot to do with numbers, and because football is, in fact, a numbers game. Magazines as well. You have some really good magazines covering the business side of football. All different kind of languages, so ranging from German FC Business to, for example, World Soccer, which is really a good magazine to give some sort of insights, more popular, but also sometimes really have nice insight on the football business as well. And then, of course, the most important one, FC Business, which, of course, like the title says, covers all aspects of the business side of football and then the football industry as a whole.
We always say there's no work without a network, and that's basically true. We still see that in the football industry, and not only the football industry, but in the entire sports, but also outside of sports industry. We often see that a lot of people find jobs through the network, so it's always giving a favor towards another, and then you can ask something back, and you can only do that if you have a big network in the industry. And in football, that's nowadays still the case. We often see that clubs prefer to hire someone they know through a different person than instead of going with someone that they don't know but has better qualifications or better skills than the other. The football industry is very difficult to get in, but once you're in, it's very difficult to get out. What I mean by that is, for instance, you get into one club and, for instance, it doesn't work out there and you have to leave or you get fired or something, then another club will always pick you up. Or you just have to make a call to someone else, to a different club, and say, yeah, I've just left this club and can I work now for you? 9 out of 10 they will hire you there because you have the knowledge and the expertise from the different team you were before that you can bring towards their team. So it's once you're in, you're in. But it's very difficult to make the first step to get into the industry because it's such a closed environment. Everybody is protecting each other and everybody fears that they will lose their job in the football industry, which is their passion. So everybody wants to stay in their position. Every trimester we also include 2 experience tours, which means we go visit clubs, federations abroad in Europe. For instance, we went this year towards the Netherlands, Switzerland, Hungary, Spain, England and Poland. So we travel a lot with our students. We often go to games because it stays the core business, of course, of the football industry. But next to that, we meet club leaders, we meet the CEO of different clubs and federations, and we have lectureships there in stadiums or at the federation.
Do you think management in football and management in just a normal organization has big difference or not really? Or it's something quite universal?
Well, we see a lot that, of course, managers or CEOs from different organizations go towards the football industry because it's their passion as well. But we often see that they're not really used to be involved that much on the emotional side, which really is involved into the football industry. And it's quite difficult because the football industry, you need to make decisions based on what you feel from your heart, but also from your head. And you really need to combine both. And that's something which is not the case into a normal business. There you can just use your head and leave the passion and emotion out of it. But that's not possible in the football industry because you have the fans who really live with you and are thinking about you constantly and just want to be informed all the time. And they always want to be at the best and the top, etc. So you need to deliver towards them. Although sometimes maybe you need to make a decision which is not in favor of the fans. So you still need to think about the fans, okay, how are we going to communicate this, etc. And you see that a lot of different leaders into the football industry are really struggling with this. It's a changing environment. There are a lot of new jobs being created. For instance, 20 years ago, social media, or not even 20 years ago, social media was not there. So all of a sudden you have a social media manager in every club, and maybe even 2 or 3 people working for that club. Video analyst is also quite something new indeed. So the football industry is a changing environment as well as any other industry. We see that a lot of new experts are taking from different industries towards the football industry, but often they are missing the football knowledge, and that's where we can help them.
Я надеюсь, вам было интересно, вы для себя сегодня узнали что-то новое. У ребят появилась группа ВКонтакте, кстати, единственный русскоязычный ресурс. Там они выставляют интересную информацию, разную инфографику о футболе, о бизнесе. Заходите по ссылке внизу посмотреть. И если вы хотите выиграть один из этих черно-золотых кожаных мячей, то также обязательно загляните в описание, там написано, как вы можете его выиграть. На этом пока все, спасибо, что досмотрели до конца и до встречи в наших следующих выпусках.